He got kicked out of a posh restaurant. Manager was embarrassed as he realized his mistake. Claude Lambert, the owner of French restaurants, had long suffered from liver pain but had delayed seeing a doctor due to a hectic schedule. He was diagnosed with late-stage, incurable cancer, with no hope of recovery. He spent his final months improving the lives of others. He planned to visit his restaurants dressed as a homeless man. But he did not expect that the way his employees treated him would make him cry. Claude initially went to his most famous restaurant, which was well known throughout the country. The manager of the restaurant approached him angrily, and demanded that the homeless man leave immediately. "Someone like you could never eat here, this location is exclusive for the wealthy." He quickly called guards to take the unwanted visitor out. The treatment astonished Claude. He had no idea his long-term boss would treat people this way. He worked for years to make his eateries more inclusive. It disappointed him that his employees lacked respect for customers of all backgrounds. He waited in the restaurant, expecting that others might step in, but things just became worse. The man was then taken out by the security guard. The owner gave up and left. At his next stop, an opulent restaurant on a flower-adorned street, he was halted by a waitress who alerted her manager about the tramp. Claude attempted a different approach, mentioning he was a loyal customer and had business dealings with the owner. He explained his bankruptcy due to a bad investment and asset seizure by the bank. Claude suggested the manager contact the owner for confirmation. The manager falsely claimed to be the owner and threatened to involve the police. Claude's mistreatment in the manager's lies deeply saddened him, strengthening his worries about the treatment of homeless people by his staff. Claude arrived at his favorite restaurant, where his longtime friend Ethan worked. Ethan had been with Claude since the first restaurant opened 15 years ago. Inside, Claude requested to speak with Ethan. He requested food, stating that he hadn't eaten in 2 days. Ethan didn't know Claude and refused, accusing him of dressing like a beggar. Claude informed Ethan he believed in him, but Ethan's response surprised him. Ethan acknowledged his involvement in the restaurant's success and his ambition to take over when the owner passes. Claude left, heartbroken by Ethan's betrayal. His next stop was a distant coastal restaurant with amazing views. It was fully booked daily. A security guard greeted him at the door, but this time Claude expressed his hunger and requested bread. The guard dialed the manager's number. He mentally prepared himself for the same old scenario, but instead heard the manager gently inquire, "How can I help you?" The manager requested the man to wait outside. He would see what could be done. Claude stood outside for over an hour and a half. When he eventually thought he had been politely evicted and was about to go, the manager approached him and invited him in because his table was ready. When he arrived at the restaurant's center, there was a table full of food. He began to share his narrative after the manager invited him to sit at the table. "My name is Louis, and I've just been here a year. For several years, I ran a prosperous business. Then one day I got in a vehicle accident with my family and lost everything. The owner of the restaurant not only fed me but also hired me and helped me regain my dignity, which I had felt I had lost. Who knows, maybe I can do the same for you." At this point, Claude began to remember this man and his whole story. He was already moved when he heard something even more captivating. "Well, I want to help you, so I want you to come back tomorrow to start work. Now, I have to leave, but enjoy your meal and think about my proposal," said the manager, who left the table and went home after a long day. The next day, Claude gathers staff at the seaside restaurant. He arrives dressed as a homeless man, astonishing everyone. Escorted to the kitchen, he removes makeup and meets employees in disguise. He fired all managers except Louis and made him team the new managers and heirs.